Yours is not a familiar face. Are you new to the hideaway, perchance?
You could say that.
Well then, allow me to welcome you. I am Harpocrates II Hyperboreus.
That's,
Quite a mouthful, I know.
Harpocrates.
Which is why everyone here has taken to calling me simply Tomes, on account of the company I keep. And what varied company.
Yeah, that's actually
I'm a
Greek.
collector, you see. Not
So,
of bijou and baubles,
throwback
but of
to
stories. The history
Greek
and culture of
philosophers.
these isles have ever been a source of endless fascination to me. But alas, my days of wandering the realm in search of new tales are far behind me. And so I've taken to sharing that which I've gathered with all who might listen. Perhaps you would care to listen.
Sure. Alright, before we take a look at that, let's ask about him first, and then we're gonna take a look at the 1,000 Tomes.
When I was very young...
It's so weird that they're not continuing talking. I'm standing here and I was like, okay, how long is this pause gonna be? And lived beyond those shores, my father would read to me every night from the only book we had, A History of Velistea by Moss the Chronicler. So enchanted was I by this realm of myth and magic that when I was of age, I enlisted as a deckhand on a merchant galley, that I might see it with my own eyes.
Yet, when I arrived...
What I found was a land of war and suffering, darkened by the blight and the evil in men's hearts. Still, I was determined to follow in the footsteps of Moss and record what I could. And so I did, in all manner of places and all manner of roles, until my aging legs could carry me no longer.
Fortunately...
Sid found me by the roadside, so to speak, and offered me a place here, where I might continue my studies, albeit without the wandering.
I don't believe you've read this particular chapter before.
I haven't read any chapter before, my friend. So, the 1,000 Tomes. The 1,000 Tomes is a comprehensive compendium of Velestian lore, covering everything from basic terms to important persons, geography, and history. New information is constantly added as Clive progresses through the story. Past active time lore entries can also be viewed here.
I have compiled some new entries.
Is
if you would like to
this
see
cool? Update the tomes. Oh, this is the
what
sounds.
subject shall we consider today?
Oh, I love it. This is quite cool. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, that looks like there's a lot, right? Now, we can search for stuff as well. Okay. Let's start from the top left. We're gonna take a look at all this stuff with a blue marker. It looks like this is the stuff we haven't read on yet. Something new. Harpocrates. I feel a revelation might be close at hand. Yeah. I wanna see what happens at level 2. Wisdom. Yeah, we are an amateur analyst. What? Analyst? Really? Are you sure you want to write it like that? Maybe this has a different meaning, but analyst is written quite differently. So, okay, let's get started. Dominant. Those within whom sleeps the power of an icon. Though they look and think no differently to any other man or woman, they can not only cast elemental magics without a crystal, but also transform themselves into beasts of world-shattering strength at any moment. A quality for which they are honored, worshipped, and feared the realm over. Oh, okay. Ah, nice! Now we can learn something about priming, because the Phoenix didn't choose us, it chose Joshua. So, the act of a dominant transforming their living flesh into that of their icon. Ah, okay, that's the other way around. Okay, so this is when you become the icon. I thought priming is when an icon is priming itself for one person, so that this person can use the icon or can be transformed into the icon. Okay. Dominants most often prime during times of war, using the immense strength of their icons to turn the tides of battle. Though it is usually done deliberately, the dominant remaining in control of the icon even when primed, on occasion a dominant will lose control of their powers and see their icon run riot. Yeah, I think this is what happened to Ifrit at the beginning, because Clive has no control over Ifrit yet. I'm still believing that Clive has Ifrit inside him. That's what I'm still believing. Icon? And then we have magic still. Magical beings of godlike strength who dwell within human hosts known as dominants, only emerging when the dominant primes. History records 8 icons in total, each with a unique elemental affinity. It is commonly held that 2 icons of the same element cannot coexist, but as none has ever witnessed all of these rare creatures together. The conjecture is yet to be proved. And magic. The art of channeling ether to make one's imagination manifest. This can take the aspect of one of the 8 elements: fire, water, wind, earth, ice, thunder, light, and dark, or more rarely be unaspected. While bearers and dominants can cast spells at will, others require a crystal to do so. Magic is a part of everyday life for the people of Valistea, making it all but unlivable when they are deprived of its gift. Ah yeah, okay. X1, Bearer. A person with the power to cast magics without a crystal. In Valistea, men and women who awaken as bearers are enslaved. They are marked with a brand upon their cheek and used as tools, a cheaper alternative to the scars and precious shards. This system of slavery has persisted for centuries and has become so ingrained in Valistean life that few take pity upon the bearer's plight, seeing them as less than human. But they should be more than human. They can use magic without a crystal. They should be on top, right? Because they don't need anything else. They just need themselves, so to say. Brand. The mark applied to the cheeks of bearers across Valistea, identifying them as something other than human. Newborn babes are checked at birth. Those who are found to be bearers being branded and taken into the custody of the state. Rarely, bearers evade this test, either because their parents hide them, the testers are lax in their duties, or their powers do not awaken until later. Yet most do not remain unbranded for long. Crystal. One of the most valuable materials known to mankind, thanks to its ability to channel ambient ether from the air, allowing those without an innate power to do so to cast magics. And as most Valisteans cannot live without magic, its supply and distribution is heavily regulated by governments across the Twins. A given shard can only channel a certain amount of ether before it shatters, so the need for new crystals is incessant? Okay. Okay, now I see my mistake. It says related topics beneath. It doesn't mean we have to read all of that. So we're just gonna take a look at this, where we could see those blue dots, and then we're gonna read that, and the rest we will see. Well, I think the rest we have seen already, in a way. The Battle of Nysa was a short yet bloody clash between the Iron Republic and the Republic of Dalmatia in the year 873. The Dalmatians, hoping to force an end to their long-running conflict with the Ironblood, had convened a council at Zenitra stronghold and entreated their... What the hell is that? Veluda? Allies to aid them in their cause. However, talks soon broke down, and the Dalmatians were left with no choice but to rely once more on the power of the mighty Titan, to whom they already owed a considerable debt. Thus was the stage set for a showdown between Titan and Shiva, the Ironblood's own icon, in which losses on both sides were too many to count. So, persons of interest. Yeah, I think we're gonna just take a look at this. We're not gonna jump to related topics and stuff, because there's so much to read already. I know, guys, if you don't want to see this also, just skip ahead, but it's just interesting to me because I want to get immersed into the lore and the world and stuff. So, Clive. Oh, let's start from the big... Ah, we have seen this. Yes, firstborn, son of Archduke, blessed with the ability. Yes, we have seen that. After the fall of Phoenix Gate. Yeah, firstborn son of Archduke Elvin and first shield of Rosaria. Though it was his sworn duty to protect his father and younger brother, both lost their lives in a tragedy brought about by his mother, Duchess Annabella. Okay, so it looks like maybe Joshua is dead. They all are talking about him as if he's dead, but I'm quite certain he can't be. Right? It's a phoenix. How can he die? Taken into custody by the Imperial Army, he was branded as a bearer and forced to serve as a slave soldier. At the Battle of Nysa, a slave soldier for the Holy Empire of Sunbrek, now in his 13th year of servitude. Though drafted as a frontline infantryman, the magical might granted him by the blessing of the Phoenix quickly saw him promoted to an elite squadron of assassins, where he was assigned the moniker by which he is now known. Their latest mission... Ah yeah, right, we have read that before. We can skip that. And as Imperial Deserter, an Imperial bearer turned deserter after refusing to slay the dominant of Shiva, choosing instead to turn his blade on his own sergeant. As a force of crusaders closed around him, his freedom seemed as if it would be short-lived, until the timely intervention of Sid, a man who shared Clive's desire to see the Dominant freed from their clutches. Together they escaped to Sid's secret hideout. Joshua. First encounter. I think we have seen that before. Yes, we have. Alright. After the fall of Phoenix Gate. Second son of the Archduke of Rosaria and heir to the ducal throne. Upon the night of the Imperial invasion of Phoenix Gate, the shock of seeing his father slain before his disbelieving eyes led to him losing control of his icon and setting the castle alight. From the flames rose a second icon of fire, whose murderous rampage laid both the castle and the Phoenix low. Jill Varick. First encounter. I don't think I have read anything about her, so let's start from the beginning. Born a princess of the Northern Territories, Jill was made a ward of Rosaria after her homeland's incessant raids were quelled by the duchy. She was raised in Rosalith Castle alongside Clive and Joshua, who came to love her as a sister. After the fall of Phoenix Gate, born a princess... we know this? No, it's different. Wait. It's not quite... It's a little bit different. Okay, we just started just from where it's different. When she waved the brothers farewell on the day they departed for Phoenix Gate, little did she know of the misfortune that awaited both them and her. And at the Battle of Nisa, Dominant of Shiva and Clive's childhood friend, in the depths of the Nisa defile, the two came to blows at the orders of the armies that enslaved them. Jill fighting to defend the priests of the Iron Kingdom, Clive obeying the Empire's orders to take the head of Shiva's Dominant. Exhausted from her tilt with Titan, Jill came close to falling to her assassin's blades, but was spared at the last moment when Clive's memories of their time together came flooding back. Toggle. First encounter? Yeah, we start from the beginning. Clive's faithful friend, brought back from one of Archduke Elwin's expeditions to the frozen Northern Territories, where he was found half-starved and shivering in a snowfield, having presumably been separated from his pack. Elwin gifted the puppy to Clive upon his return, and the two became nigh inseparable. Alright, Torgal is from the same area as Jill. Okay. Alright, after the fall of Phoenix Gate, until the tragic events at Phoenix Gate tore them apart. At the Battle of Nisa, Clive's faithful friend now fully grown. After the tragic events at Phoenix Gate, Clive believed that Torgal was lost to him forever. However, their paths were to cross again some 13 years later when Torgal's new master Sid came to Clive's rescue in the depth of the Nisa defile. Despite their long years apart, the two knew each other as if not a single day had passed since their separation. And reunited with Clive. In the intervening years, Torgal not only grew into a fine hound, but met with Sid, who trained him to work as a hunting dog. After meeting with Clive again, Torgal gladly returns to the service of his former master. Ambrosia. Ah, that's our Chocobo. First encounter. Born in the stables of Rosalith Castle, Ambrosia was chosen by the young Clive Rosfield to be his personal steed and raised by him from a chick. She is a proud bird and deeply loyal to her master, quickly turning her beak upon any but... quickly turning her beak upon any but he who should attempt to pet her. And the Knight of Flames. Clive's personal steed. During the attack on Phoenix Gate, she raced to Clive's rescue, saving him from certain death at the cost of an eye, a price she gladly paid. So she should still be alive, if it's just the eye, right? Just a question of where she is. Alright then, Benedicta Harmon, commander of the Kingdom of Valutes, elite intelligencers? What the? That's not a word, is it? Intelligencers? Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it looks just wrong in itself. Yeah. Who sits by her liege's side at the highest tables of state. Most recently in their negotiations with the Dalmex at the Zenitra stronghold. But Barnabas is not the only one with whom she shares a special bond. First of all, who's Barnabas? I don't know. And Barnabas, wait, wasn't it Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales. Awesome game, by the way. I think there was one guy, his name was Barnabas, right?
Barnabas Beckenbauer. To friends?
Funny! Okay, first of all, Barnabas. Wasn't there a rat called Barnabas? I'm not quite sure. In a story or in a tale, I'm not quite sure. But Beckenbauer is a German name. And there has been, and there still is, because he's still alive, a German football player, or if you are from the United States, as a soccer player, named Franz Beckenbauer. That's so funny. And he calls himself Bibi. And there's another one, another fictitious person I know, which is called Bibi. And this is a little witch called Bibi Blocksberg. Also something German. This is funny. The thing is, he reminds me of someone else. Although this is not a gnome, this is totally different. But in a way, it reminds me of Dobby from Harry Potter.
Allow me once again to express my undying gratitude.
It's just like Dobby, undying gratitude because Harry Potter freed him and made him a free elf.
I think he was quite funny, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, definitely.
Did you test the design yourself?
Naturally, I must stay on the ground. Who take all the measurements elsewise. Luckily, there's no lack of thrill seekers in Mahakam. Most eager to etch themselves into the annals. My first prototype, the Sky Licker, I dubbed it. Oh, Majesty, if you'd only seen the beauty. Flew over 120 Ls.
Truly? Colour me impressed indeed. Must have made quite the name for himself, your brave volunteer. I'm certain he's caught the eye of every she-dwarf in Mahakam since.
Oh no, he's dead. The landing. It was rough.
Oh.
And then a bear sauntered by. Didn't help. Anyway.
Oh.
Anyhow, as he died, the dwarf swore he regretted nothing. Brave lad. A bit daft, though.
This Barnabas guy is really funny.
Benedicta also has eyes and ambitions for Hugo Kupka. Yeah, we have seen that. Yeah, the big guy. And her. There he is, Hugo Kupka. Kupka's awakening as the dominant of the icon Titan thrust him to the forefront of Dalmekian politics, winning him influence over both the Republic's armies and its policy making, as well as a personal fortune. He has little love for his country, taking advantage of his position to benefit himself and himself alone. His love for Benedicta Harmon, however, is absolute, and he would gladly betray his every ally just to be with her. Blinded by love, like so many. Royal Knight Lord Commander. Lord Commander of the Kingdom of Valud's armies, he accompanied his liege to Fort Zenitra in the Republic of Dalmekia to negotiate the provision of reinforcements from the Royal Order of Knights. Ah, okay, I think this is the guy who said, and there you have His Majesty's answer, and he didn't really answer, he was just like, I think this is this guy. The King of Valud, yeah, okay, yeah, that's the guy, definitely. The aloof and unshakable Barnabas Tharm. This is Barnabas! Oh, okay. First of his name, few can meet his steely gaze without flinching. Okay, voila. Oh, there's even more, oh my god. Alright, let's continue. Otto! Chief Steward of Sid's Hideaway, who manages the day-to-day running of their operation in his friend's stead. Sid often being taken far and away by his bearer-liberating activities. Even when Sid is at home, he prefers to leave such busy work to Otto, much to the hard-pressed purser's indignation. Götz, one of Sid's trusted allies, a gentle giant who has a warm word for everyone. Yeah, that's like I said, like Samwise Gamgee. Blackthorn, resident blacksmith of Sid's Hideaway, a sullen and secretive sword who prefers to drown his woes in drink than to share them. Okay. Harpocrates II Hyperboreus, the Hideaway's resident historian, whose love for books has earned him the nickname Tomes. Harpocrates traveled to Valestia as a youth, seeking to unearth the secrets of this land of legend, and over the years has developed a deep knowledge of Valestian geography, history, religion, and folklore. Elwyn Rosfield. So, first encounter, we have read that. Elwyn was born before his father, the previous dominant of the Phoenix, passed away, so he did not inherit the Icon's powers. Okay, so now we have learned something more. He didn't get the Icon's powers because his father was still alive, but then again... Oh! Wait. No, that doesn't make sense. So why did the Phoenix jump over to Joshua then? Because Elwyn was still alive. Or maybe he wasn't. Because he transformed into an icon after the father died. So maybe he just had the power just like Clive. But they said the icon already chose Joshua. before he was dead. Before Elwyn was dead. Still so weird. I don't understand it quite yet. Instead, he devoted himself to the study of swordcraft and statesmanship, that he might lead his country from the front, which he did to wide acclaim in leading his armies and quelling the rebellious northern territories. After the fall of Phoenix Gate, Elwyn's reign ended when he was beheaded by his servants of the Holy Empire of Sunbreak in their ignoble attack on Phoenix Gate. Known not only for his inspiring leadership and skill with the blade, but his disapproval of the mistreatment of bearers, his legacy lives on in all those who oppose imperial rule in what remains of Rosaria. Annabella Rosfield. Yeah, we have seen that. At Rosalith Castle. Yeah, she is the wife of Archduke Elwyn and mother to Clive and Joshua, we know this. It was not only her beauty, but her connection to a bloodline that produced many previous dominants of the Phoenix that led to her being proposed as a bride for the young Archduke. Indeed, the two are cousins. Yeah, I was just wondering, because if the bloodline was Elwyn's, why would she be the one for producing dominance of the Phoenix? But then again, if she has the same bloodline because she's a cousin, okay, but still weird. Why is she the one who produced many previous dominants of the Phoenix? Oh no, not she, but the bloodline. Ah yeah, okay, yeah. That was just the connection to the bloodline. Okay, that's why. So to have a higher chance that there will be a dominant of the Phoenix coming next. Okay. Having known from a young age that her purpose in life was to preserve her Phoenix-bearing bloodline, she dotes on Joshua and scorns Clive. Yeah, exactly, because Clive is not the dominant. Yeah. And after the fall of Phoenix Gate, it was ever her purpose in life to preserve her Phoenix-bearing bloodline, for which reason she betrayed her husband, that she might enter in league with a force she judged the mightier, the Holy Empire of Sunbreak. It was Annabella's treachery that led to the disaster at Phoenix Gate. Like I said, she's just after power, that's all. Okay, not just power, but preserving the Phoenix's bloodline. Rodney Murdoch, yes, we have read first part already. At Rosalith Castle, Lord Commander of the Rosarian Army, outranked only by Archduke Elwyn, who is not only his liege lord, but his firm friend. The two share an unshakable bond of trust, Elwyn consulting with Rodney on all military matters. And the Knight of Flames. Murdoch and his shields accompanied Elwyn and Joshua to Phoenix Gate to perform the rite of ancestral communion, only to be set upon first by Imperial infiltrators, then a second, shadowy icon of fire, within whose flames Murdoch was engulfed. So, sounds like he's dead. So wait, first encounter, we have read that. He's a shield of Rosaria. Though he did all he could to return the favor that he owed to Joshua for saving his life as a boy during the attack on Phoenix Gate, Wade was to meet the same fate as the prince. So, sounds like he's dead as well. Sir Tyler, the Knight of Flames. Loyal shield, yes, we know that. On our first duty, he was with us, just like the one before. Though he did everything in his power to assist Joshua and Archduke Elwyn's flight from Phoenix Gate on the night of the attack, his years of distinguished service were to come to a close when he was swallowed by the flames of the rampaging Phoenix. Yeah, that's what I thought. Tiamat. I don't know if I have read anything about him before, so let's start from the beginning. First encounter. A bearer in service of the Holy Empire of Sunbreak, Tiamat is the leader of the elite assassin squadron to which Wyvern is assigned, the Bastards. Their latest mission to take the head of the dominant of Shiva. To this end, they infiltrate the Nissa Defile, where the forces of the Republic of Dalmekia and the Iron Kingdom are aligned against each other. Though none know his true name, rumor has it that the man now known as Tiamat was born in a scion of a noble Sunbreakois family and abandoned to his fate after his powers awakened. And death. It was on a mission to take the head of Shiva's dominant in the Nissa Defile that his subordinate Wyvern, real name Clive Rosfield, turned upon him and cut him down. Yes, we know this. Bias is dead already, we know that. Second longest serving of the Bastards, an elite band of slave assassins in service of the Holy Empire of Sunbreak. He and his sergeant Tiamat fought alongside each other for many a year, and not Biased, it was Biast, and Biast trusted him with his life. Alas, there was little Tiamat could do to save him from the boulder that was to fall from the skies during their ill-fated mission to infiltrate the Dalmekian Republic and take the head of Shiva's dominant. And Evis, that was the other guy. a branded soldier for the Holy Empire of San Brek who served alongside Wyvern. None know his true name. He and his band of elite assassins were tasked with taking the head of the dominant of Shiva, but he was to lose his life to a crusader's axe in the course of the mission. Yeah, we remember that. There's still some more. Okay. Dalmekian Chief Strategist. Ah, that's the guy who was sitting next to Hugo on the table, or at the table. Chief Strategist and former Field Marshal of the Dalmekian Republic. While there was a time he took personal command of his troops, Hugo Kupka's rise to prominence led to his being recalled from the battlefield by reason of his advancing age, for which he bears the vainglorious dominant a deep-seated grudge. The Republican Prime Minister, leader of the Dalmekian Parliament and eldest and most experienced of its members, those elected by the states of the Republic plus the dominant of Titan, who serves as an official advisor. Alas, Hugo Kupka does not take kindly to his advice being ignored. Gerulf? Not sure if I've seen him before. He looks weird with his beard there. Very weird. Second in command of Valud's Royal Intelligencers, serving under Benedicta Harmon, with whom he shares a deep bond of trust. Ah yeah. Moss the Chronicler, far-fabled scholar of Valestian history and legend. Even to this day, much of the surviving knowledge of the distant antiquity of the twins issues from his quill. In his later years, his writings attracted fierce criticism from certain scholarly circles, which resulted in him removing himself from public life. Ah yeah. And Dominant of Fire. Yeah. Again, I think this is Clive, although this doesn't look really like Clive. I don't know. We will see at some point, hopefully. A mysterious figure who was first seen amid the chaos of the Imperial invasion of Phoenix Gate, immediately before the appearance of the second icon of fire, the very icon that slew the heir to the ducal throne. Clive believes this man to be the dominant who murdered his brother and has sworn to take his revenge. And in a way it reminds me of those hooded figures in Final Fantasy VII Remake. So those were the people, and we're continuing with the Lay of the Land. Valistea, a realm comprising the twin continents of Storm and Ash, over which the Mother Crystals stand timeless vigil. At the foot of each, great cities have risen up over the aeons, and around them powerful nations. Though the land has been blessed with the light of magic since time immemorial, in recent years, a creeping blackness has begun to gnaw at its borders, the Blight. Yeah, I still don't know much about the Blight, to be honest. Storm, the westerly of Valistea's two great continents, with its frozen northern reaches, its temperate, marshy midlands, and the searing heat of the south, it boasts a breadth of climes and cultures not seen anywhere else in the known realms. Rosalith, the capital city of the Duchy of Rosaria. Rosalith Castle, seat of the Archduke, stands at the heart of the storied settlement, whose marketplaces teem with activity. Alas, the encroaching blight has rendered vast swath of the land to the north uninhabitable, driving refugees south in ever greater numbers and placing an unbearable strain on Rosalith's all too finite resources. Phoenix Gate, a walled keep situated near Rosaria's northwestern border. It was originally constructed to serve as an outpost in the wars against the Northern Territories, but its true significance lies deep within the ruins atop which the stronghold stands. Here, in an ancient chamber accessible only to the Dominant of Fire, is held the rite of ancestral communion, an important ritual in which it is believed that the Phoenix can hear the words of the Duchy's forebears. Aha! The Ducal Army, the loyal soldiery of the Duchy of Rosaria. They serve under the standing army's Lord Commander, whose task it is to enact the will of their sovereign, the Archduke. Those who show sufficient aptitude or who are blessed with sufficient nobility of birth are made shields, personal retainers to the Archduke himself. House Rosfield, the highest of the noble houses of Rosaria. The dominant of the Phoenix is always born into the Rosfield line, and so it is always a Rosfield who sits upon the ducal throne. The Night of Flames, an Imperial attack on Rosarian forces stationed at Phoenix Gate made under the cover of night in the year 860. Archduke Elvin Rosfield was killed in the fighting, as were his two sons, though the bodies of the latter were never recovered, having thought to have been wholly consumed by hellfire. The attack was widely rumored to have been facilitated by the traitorous Duchess Annabella, although official explanations attempted to shift the blame onto the Phoenix, having run inexplicably rampant. Yeah, but we know why. Stillwind Marsh, an area of swampland that stretches northeast from Rosalith Castle. This is where we fought the goblins and Morble. And I think Gigas was his name. The odd village could once be found here, but nothing to compare to the lively settlements that line the main roads of the realm. And with the encroachment of the Blight and the creatures driven before it, even these scant settlements were soon deserted. The Holy Empire of Sunbreak, a nation occupying the northeastern reaches of the continent of Storm, with the great city of Oriflamme as its capital. Sunbreak is the realm's largest theocracy and home to the Mother Crystal Drake's Head. Under the rule of the Holy Empire, the people of Sunbreak enjoy a life of plenty, thanks to the crystal's blessing, which they believe to be a gift from the goddess Grigor herself. The Imperial Army, the assembled forces of the Holy Empire of Sunbreak. While officially under the command of cardinals, it is Holy Emperor Sylvester Lesage whom the legions truly serve. Is there a reason why the bad guys are French? I don't know. On the battlefield, the Dragoons, peerless lancers, renowned throughout the realm, are the Empire's keenest weapon, descending from the skies to sow terror and disarray among their hapless foes. Alright, but in Legend of Dragoon, the Dragoons were actually helpful and heroes, so not the same. There's the Dragoon. Looks cool, by the way. Yeah, looks really cool. A lance-wielding knight of the Holy Empire of Sunbreak, the Dragoons are trained in a unique acrobatic fighting style modeled after the movements of dragons, which is characterized by sudden thrusts and disorienting leaps and dives. Gregorian scripture hold the creatures to be divine, a gift from the goddess herself, and so too are their namesakes revered by the populace. The Dalmatian Republic, a nation formed from a federation of 5 smaller states. It is located in the southern half of the continent of Storm and has its capital at Randella. It is also home to the Mother Crystal known as Drake's Fang. There is no official state religion and citizens are free to worship as they please. Dalmatia's key political entity is the Parliament, which is formed of ministers representing each of the states with the Prime Minister at its head. Fort Zinitra, a stronghold situated at the western end of the Nisa Defile in the Dalmatian Republic. In the year 873, it served as the site of a meeting convened by the Dalmatians with their Veluda allies in an attempt to enlist their aid in driving back the Ironblood, who had been a thorn in their side since the Battle of the Twin Realms 8 years before. The Man of the Fist, Dalmatia's standing army. While officially an organ of the Republic, each of its 5 states is granted relative autonomy with regard to the management of its troops. Aside from certain specialized squads, battle deployments are mostly comprised of small units employing a mixture of foot soldiers and battle mages. The former are known and feared for their curved swords and prodigious axes and the deadly skill with which they wield them. The Republican Parliament, the highest council of government of the Republic of Dalmatia. 7 ministers are responsible for ruling the nation, though their will is often molded to that of their permanent economic advisor, Hugo Kupka, who leverages his power as the dominant of Titan to shape the Republic's policy. Interesting. The Zenitra Consult. Looking to bring an end to their long-running conflict with the Iron Kingdom, the Dalmex convened a council with their Veluda allies at Zenitra Stronghold. However, the Veludas were unwilling to concede to the Dalmex requests, leaving the Republic no choice but to field its dominant Hugo Kupka. In so doing, Parliament further indebted itself to this already powerful player in national politics. The Kingdom of Velud, the sole surviving nation in Ash. Ah, okay, so there are different nations in Storm, but just one in Ash. Velud has its capital at Stonir, home to the Mother Crystal of Drake's Spine. Ha! Okay. Why Drake? Why the Spine? Ah, maybe there's a dragon? Has something to do with a dragon? A warlike land, its considerable military might serves to keep neighboring countries at bay, while Velud does maintain a notional alliance with the Dominican Republic in Southern Storm. It is very much a marriage of convenience. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. The Iron Kingdom, Faith Unbending, an archipelago nation situated off the west coast of Storm with its capital at Craiglois. The Mother Crystal Drake's Breath rises from a volcanic island situated just within its borders, and is worshipped as a god, just as the state religion Crystalline Orthodox dictates. This same religion decrees the use of magic to be anathema, and the bearers and dominants who use it to be sinful aberrations, leading to even greater discrimination than that suffered by their brethren on the mainland. Given their stated desire to control all the mothers, the Ironbloods' attitude to other nations is one of indelible antagonism. Drake's Breath, one of Valistia's 5 remaining mother crystals, located on the volcanic isle known to the Ironblood as Bien Leodlat, again Welsh, looks Welsh, in the seas between Rosaria and the Iron Kingdom. Though its occupation can historically be traced to the Duchy, control of the crystal was recently wrested from Rosaria's grasp by the Crusade following a series of bitter conflicts. The Iron Crusade. The fighting forces of the Iron Kingdom. Ultimate command rests with the king, who issues orders directly to the commanders of each of his battalions. Ironblood soldiers generally prefer heavy clubs and great axes over swords and other lighter weapons. This rather brutal approach is indicative of their overall attitude, which has earned them a reputation on the continent as savage, if somewhat primitive warriors. Okay, 3 more, and then there are just 2 more categories up there. Alright. The Northern Territories, and actually this is way more lore than I thought there would be, and yeah, I'm gonna keep reading up on that. And again, guys, if you don't wanna see any of that, just skip it, but for me it's just really important. So, the Northern Territories. A bitterly cold region in the northern reaches of the continent of Storm. It was originally home to the mother crystal known as Drake's Eye, around which a series of small nations sprung up. Nations whose belligerence proved troublesome for Rosaria over the centuries. In time, however, the Mother Crystal's power dwindled, and with it the power of these warlike nations. With the Blight encroaching on their territory ever more, the remaining tribes were united and pacified by Archduke Elvin Rosford of Rosaria in the year 854. The Crystalline Orthodox, a religion dedicated to the worship of the Mother Crystals. Its priesthood enjoy great power, with the Patriarch, leader and chief shepherd of the faithful, the most powerful of all. While best known as the state religion of the insular Iron Kingdom, it was once practiced throughout Valistea. To its believers, the Mother Crystals are literal gods, and the wasteful expenditure of ether through the use of magic is strictly forbidden. As such, those who do use magic, dominants and bearers both, are seen as subhuman abominations. The Battle of the Twin Realms was a conflict fought between the Holy Empire of Sunbreak and the Kingdom of Valut in the year 865. Sunbrequois forces, with the power of the icon Bahamut on their side, took the Strait of Arthur back from Valut, putting an end to a blockade that had lasted several decades. Wait, but I thought Benedicta is Bahamut. But Benedicta isn't she Valut? Because Sunbrequois, those are the others. Just Sunbreak is the Holy Empire, so to say. Okay, so who is she then? Which icon? I don't know. The Valudas, looking to hold back the Sunbrequois advance by any means necessary, formed an alliance with the Damikian Republic, who themselves were waging war against the Iron Kingdom on the Western Front and prevented the Empire from progressing any further. Okay, so, mysteries of the realm. Crystal rations. Ah yeah, that's what I wanted to know, how those work. Shards of crystal small enough to be held in the hand, which allow those who are not born bearers to cast magics. The nations of the twins see such shards mined from the mother crystals and distributed to the populace, so that every man and woman of good character, bearers, criminals, and other undesirables not included, might enjoy the gift of magic. It is common for people to keep them about their persons in a protective case. Municipal shards. Ah, the big ones, those which were used as bombs as well on these trebuchets, catapults. Large shards of crystal that are entrusted to towns and cities across Valistea in order to serve the populace. Where those shards rationed out to individuals might suffice to fill a cup or light an oven, municipal shards fill wells, fire forges, and light the streets of the great cities of the twins. Ether, the life force of the land and the source of all magic. The amount of ether a spell consumes depends on its strength, with those manifesting more potent forces over a wider area coming at a greater cost. Yeah, this is what we know from Final Fantasy 7 to 9, for example. You have magical points, MP, and you can use them, and depending on how strong your magic is that you're using, it will consume more. That's what we know. Larger crystals can channel more ether than smaller ones. and thus can be used to cast more powerful magics. One might use a small ration shard to grill a fish, but would require a large municipal crystal to fire a blacksmith forge. First Shield. Title granted to the mightiest and most stalwart shield of the Rosarian arm. The First Shield is entrusted with the personal protection of the dominant of the Phoenix, and is gifted a portion of the icon's power over flame, a boon known as the Blessing of the Phoenix. The Blessing of the Phoenix. The boon Joshua bestowed upon his brother upon Clive's ordination as First Shield, allowing him to... Oh, wait, Joshua has to say, or has to activate, so to say, the fire magic in people. It's up to him. It's not up to the Phoenix, but, well, he is the Phoenix, or he has the Phoenix inside him, but... Okay. Again, the boon Joshua bestowed upon his brother upon Clive's ordination as First Shield, allowing him to wield fire-aspected magic without a crystal. It has long been custom in Rosaria for the dominant of the Phoenix to share a part of their power in this way, performing this rite of rejuvenation upon those they appoint as their protectors that they might serve them the better. The Rosarian National Anthem.
Follow me, oil the rolling green meadows. Follow the flames and arise from the shadows. Hear the Rosarian voices that ring, fanned by the fire's life-giving wings. Go on the wind-born o'er the great land of storm. Rise through heavens, see how the fire in the
I don't suppose I've been missed.
flames. Hear the Rosarian voices acclaim, stirred by the fire's life-giving flames.
Perhaps the most beloved ditty in the duchy, the Rosarian National Anthem was written for the occasion of the new nation's founding, and is filled with patriotic imagery of rolling meadows, rising flames, and stirring song. It was oft heard raising the rafters of ducal alehouses, particularly close to closing time, where disputes over the lyrics to the less practiced third verse would occasionally end in fisticuffs. Okay, that's funny. I like that. Beastman. A somewhat derogatory nomen given the collective group of demi-humanoid beings that includes goblins, orcs, and minotaurs, among others. Beastmen tend to differ from most wild creatures in demonstrating a distinct intelligence, possessing the capacity for spoken and sometimes even written language, as well as complex tool building, and many have developed unique, albeit simple civilizations of their own. With civilization, however, will always come the desire to expand, and it is this ambition that has resulted in countless clashes with humanity over the centuries. Bard. Traveling minstrels, who actually we should know what a bard is, but I'm still reading through it because there could be something funny or special.
When lightning struck, his yoke did break, his life his own again. With thunder's roll he knew his fate, and would fight it to the end.
Traveling minstrels who journey from place to place, performing in hostelries across Valistia to the accompaniment of lute or lyre. They provide not only entertainment, but information on the state of the realm, oft singing of significant events and important personages? I don't know.
Personages.
The hideaway has its own resident bard, that the illiterate amongst its residents might remain informed. Orchestrion. A curious clockwork contraption that is able to perform several different musical compositions at the flick of a switch. Meteor. The burning red star. On the bottom left. Okay. That sits beneath the moon. Folklore ascribes to Meteor the role of message-bearer to the moon, so it is common custom across Valistia to wish upon the star that one's heartfelt desires might be conveyed to the heavens and beyond. That sounds nice. And the Journal of Moss. The Annals of Moss the Chronicler, a scholar of Valistian history, noted not only for his singular insight but for the lyricism of his writing, an exceptionalism that earned him the enmity of his fellow scholars and drove him from public life. Such were their misgivings towards him that only a handful of copies of the journal were ever produced, making the tome a prized find among collectors. Alright then, and the bestiary. Some we have seen. Now let's take a look at the rest. A second icon of fire, Ifrit. A fire-respected icon that first emerged in the year of the realm 860, when Imperial forces attacked the Rosarian stronghold of Phoenix Gate. Clad in infernal flame, the fiendish creature flung itself against the Phoenix, overpowering the icon with a strength and ferocity never seen before or since. The Phoenix. We have seen the basic information. Let's take a look at Hidden Truth. The Warden of Fire, last seen on the night of the Imperial invasion of Phoenix Gate in the year 816, when the young Joshua Rosfield lost control of his powers. The Phoenix first awakened among the Modes of Fire, an ancient tribe who dwelled in the western reaches of Storm, and the careful preservation of bloodlines among the Rosarian nobility ensured that its dominant would always be born in the ducal line. Shiva. So we have masked, we have seen that, now unmasked. The Warden of Ice, of whom Jill Varric is the current dominant. With her glacial aspect and ability to conjure boreal boulders from the aether, Shiva's appearance on the battlefield makes her enemies' blood run cold. Alright, Goblins. A common species of beastmen. While at first glance they may seem like mindless predators, goblins have their own unique language and are skilled enough to both cast magics and make rudimentary tools and weapons. While mostly found on the continent of Storm, the spread of the Blight has forced them to find homes nearby human settlements. A move that oft ends in misunderstanding and bloodshed. Alright, I'm not quite certain, but nearly everything here sounds like Old English in a way. It's just weird for me to see the word oft in English, because oft is German, which means oft. So that means mostly in English. But it's written the same, I think you pronounce it in a way the same, oft. But in English, I've always known it as often or often. Some people pronounce the T and some don't. So this is really a bit weird for a German guy to see a German word like that. Gigas, as they are oft, again, as they are oft witnessed in the presence of goblins, many believe these lumbering brutes to be goblins themselves, albeit ones that have grown to prodigious size. Scholars, however, deny these claims and insist the two tribes are independent and their relationship a symbiotic one, with the Gigas providing protection to the slighter goblins, who in turn provide the craftless giants with sundry arms and vestures such as the carnal carcanets created from the bones of their victims. The spread of the Blight has seen both tribes impinge on human territory with increased frequency, and recent spottings having put them as close to civilization as 3 reeds in Rosaria. Morbolds, the foul cocktail of bile and partially digested prey that accumulates within these giant carnivorous plants' bellies, makes their breath so spectacularly rancid that it can be used as a weapon to repel would-be attackers. Morbolds favor more humid climes, such as those found on the volcanic isles of the Iron Kingdom. However, the spread of the Blight has driven the mobile flora to cooler areas such as the swamps of Rosaria. Chocobos, favored steeds of the people of Valistea. Alright, there is one little thing. Favored should be written with O and U, if it's supposed to be British English. In the American English, they often cut the U. There's no U in favored. In British English, it would be OU, but okay. While they are mainly bred for riding, some are used to pull wagons, and some are even eaten. What? You can eat chocobos? Are you kidding? But the boldest and bravest are put forward for use by the military. They are intelligent and fiercely loyal creatures and tend to tolerate only their master's attention. Wild chocobos are no less vigilant and will readily attack anyone who they perceive to be a threat. Anyone who isn't carrying a fistful of Guzal greens, that is. Yeah, exactly. This is how you catch a chocobo. You need those Guzal greens, and then you can tame them, so to say, that they are eating, and then you can catch them. Very nice. Still the same. Ah, nice. Those owls. Oh, I want to say stoluses? Owls capable of transmitting the thoughts of others. Oh, that's cool. Specifically those with whom they are attuned. In response to an ancient incantation, their lithified third eyes, the blue one on the top, store these thoughts in the form of ether, allowing them to be passed on as and when required, though only to the intended recipient. Stoluses are mainly kept by royals, nobles, and other figures of authority for the purpose of sending secret or urgent messages, and are seldom available to common folk. The incantation can be loosely translated as "My will is now thy burden," Never cleft our bond shall be. Aha. But he said it to whom? He said it to the owl, yes, but who was the recipient of this message? My will is now thy burden, your burden. Never cleft our bond shall be. It was for an ally. It has to be for an ally, right? Alright then, that was a lot to read upon. I didn't get another level. Okay, so I need to just get to know more stuff and then it will rise. I thought it would rise by reading upon stuff, but no.
The door to the shelves shall ever be open.
So, is there something new at this point in time? No, doesn't look like it. There are no signs any longer. Great, so we have done the lore. What's next? Promising sucker. This can't be sucker, right? Can't pronounce it sucker. I don't know. Sid welcomes Clive into his Deadlands sanctuary hidden deep within the ruins of a lost civilization. There, Clive discovers something that had eluded him for nigh 13 years. Freedom. And now we have to go to Greatwood. Alright, so that's our home. And that's where we need to go. There's nothing else, nowhere else we can go at this moment. No. Alright then, let's go to the Greatwood. So deep and vast. What? Nearby activities? Ah, okay. So deep and vast is the Great Wood, it serves as a defensive barrier between the Crystal Belt and the Holy Empire, while its denizens deter foolhardy travelers from exploring the forest's everlasting night.